So we have a lot to do on this project, on this particular video, but we're gonna have we're gonna break it down actually. So yeah, we're gonna do that because I don't want to go too long into it. So what I'm gonna do basically on this one is gonna give you a project walkthrough of what we're going to build, just so you can have an idea of what's ahead and what's coming up. And I think building a project is a great idea to learn. I've learned a lot of stuff doing project builds, and I think it gives you a better perspective on how things actually do work in real life, and then you can imitate that same thing and just kind of like duplicate that same project a bunch of times to do different versions of it, and then modify them as you need to by just getting help out there from Stack Overflow, or from other people, even from me here. So you can ask me, and now if I'm around, I'll tell you. It's like, okay, well, what, for that you need to do this, or you need to do that, or things like that. But for example, like if you were going to build a blog, or if you were going to build a project, like a portfolio or something like that, they're kind of the same thing. The projects are very similar to get the same, and so you can just basically just reuse the same kind of format and just change the the words on the screen and things like that and make it fit. So but I think this project that we're going to build is going to be not only good for to explain many things about Gatsby and how it works, but also it's going to be something that you can use. So you can actually, once we build this project out, you can actually keep this. You don't have to throw it away. You can actually use this, because what we're going to build is a portfolio. So I'm going to use my portfolio that I actually built with Gatsby as well. And you can see it in the bottom here that I put in all the stuff that I used to build it with. I use Gatsby, React, Material UI, and GraphQL, which kind of comes with Gatsby. So we're going to build my portfolio, and then you're going to have your own portfolio. Obviously, you're not going to have the same things I have, but you can fill it out with whatever, and then that's what we're going to do. We're going to eventually make use of some fake images, not some fake images, but yeah, we're going to put some fake images inside all of this. You're not going to use my picture, obviously. We're going to change some stuff, but the project is basically going to be about the same feel. So let me show you what I got here going on. So you got the header area where you have basically your logo, which since it's a portfolio, it's going to be basically your picture, or it could be just be your name. Okay. And then you have a menu item here, which in this case, being a portfolio, you really don't need a lot of stuff. Just basically a main link that takes you to the top of the page, and then a project page where you can choose to show I don't know, different snippets of projects that you've done in the past, or projects that you have going on right now. Anything you want to talk about, your skills basically could be there. And then your about page, where you get to sell yourself. You get to talk about, what what you're working on, what you want to work on, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many, anything about you that you want your future employer to know. And then your contact page, obviously, because you want people to get hold of you and and hire you. So now you could do this in many ways. You could do this in pages, like you could break this down and have a home page, and then have a page for projects and a page for about or contacts, just like I explained. Or you could do it like I did, which I basically broke it down to, when you click projects, it takes you down. See that? Like it took me down here. There you go. To this section that it was already there. All I did was just basically scroll down to it. And my about page is basically this one. It would take me there instead, like that. And then my contact page would take me to the bottom. So this is basically using a single page navigation. Do not confuse single page application with single page navigation. They're different. Okay. Single page application is framework, a framework type of building, or whatever you want to call it, but kind of like React, Angular, things like that. That's where we already talked about that in the last video, so we're not going to go over that again. Now, single page navigation is where you kind of get to navigate through your menu in one single page. Now, why did I decide to do that? Is because it's a project. It's a portfolio. It doesn't really require a lot of pages. Most people that want to hire you, they don't want to go through pages and pages and pages and pages of content. Like if we were going to see my actual company, um, that website obviously has a lot of pages in there, but this website requires, because this is different. This is for clients that want to come and hire me for an actual bigger project and things like that. And this is not just for someone who wants to hire me to work for them. This is actually somebody who's hiring me for a project. So this requires a lot more content and different kind of multi-page navigation instead of single-page navigation. Single-page navigation and single-page application are two different things. But we're not going to talk about that project. We're going to keep talking about this one. So we're going to build this. We're going to instead of creating this thing that I created here, this accordion, I think this is very complicated for you guys. It took a lot of work to actually build this and make it responsive. So I'm not going to go over this part. I'm actually going to build, I'm going to create just a single banner, hero banner it's called, with, with some content in the middle. You can get creative and you can make it a slider. You can make it a, this same thing that I have going on here. You can make it different things and get creative with your own design if you want to. But I think for the purpose of this, this tutorial, so we can move a little faster, we're just going to keep that part simple and make it just a regular banner that is going to say, whatever, like your name, or I don't know, like my portfolio, something like that, and then some kind of content in there, which I'm not going to get crazy with the content either. Obviously, I'm just going to put a bunch of random text generators in there. The whole point of this is that you get to build, once we build this project out and it's yours to keep, you can actually start filling it in with content that is useful for you. But the website will be built already. If you notice, there's this purple color that you're gonna see around here. So you like there, and then you're gonna see a button. Where do I have? Okay, so like these buttons are also kind of like following the same color. So that's a theme color that you can pick from Material UI, and we're going to be using Material UI, and I'm going to show you how to set up a theme, how to set up the colors, so that whenever you start building things out, the colors automatically show up, and you can always modify them. Like like if you wanted the header to be different color than the buttons, they don't have to always be. It's just kind of useful. The Material UI kind of sets up a little bit of a pattern there that is always going to kind of be that way. But at the end of the day, you have the freedom to change that stuff around and not use the same color for the buttons and the header, for example. Even the background, like things like that. You can change anything, but it's nice that Material UI kind of sets up a little standard for you to go with. So I'm gonna set up a middle section here with an about me and maybe some random image or whatever. A skill set area here where you can you can put maybe some of the stuff that you worked with, some of the languages that you're familiar with, and then we're gonna put here like a list of projects and things like that. These are actual real projects I've worked on. So what you're going to do from here is, this is the part that is actually going to work into the single page application part. So these projects are going to come from your WordPress source. Okay, so you're going to source all of these out in your WordPress application, and you're going to go out there to get this stuff. So this stuff doesn't really live in your site. It lives in your WordPress application that you're using basically as a database repository, so to speak. Okay, and you're going to be able to pull out the slugs. You're going to be able to pull out all the information, the image and the content, all that stuff. And anytime you want to do any type of edit to these posts right here, you don't have to actually do it in your React application code. You can go to your WordPress where they live and do it there, and it will automatically change. But when you click on these, you get a new page that explains your project out, and it even has a little link that takes you there. And then when you're done, go back. In some cases, I even have like before and afters. Like, this is what the website used to be before they hired me. This is what it ended up being like after they hired me, and some information and whatever, and then go back. So we're gonna go through all of this, and then you get to change it to put your own projects, obviously, because you're not gonna have my information. You're gonna have fake project stuff. After done, we're not gonna do this many, by the way. But I am gonna show you how to do it in tiles like this, so that it can be responsive. Hang on. So that it can be responsive, so that when you go down to like a smaller screen, you can see that it goes into 2, and then it goes down into 1, so like that. So you want it to be responsive that way, and everything is, it's going to be responsive, not just that part. And then the hire me part, which is, your contact information. I'm going to show you how to make this work in the simplest way as possible, and that you don't need to do a whole lot of back-end development to this. There are tools out there that you can generate and send emails without having to have a back-end development attached to it. Obviously, the best way to do it is for you to learn your own backend, either with Node.js or C# or PHP or whatever you want to do, and build your own email system that you get to send emails and do your own backend. That way you can build yourself out into being a full stack developer more than just a front end. Because trust me, especially and I've gone through this before, when you go get a job somewhere else, they're going to give more value to the back-end developers and the full-stack developers than the front-end developers. I think they're wrong. I think that they are judging front-end developers by what we used to be 10, 12 years ago, when all we did was HTML and CSS. But now front-end developers are a lot more programmatic. We actually do a lot more logic code than we used to before, and there's no need for them to treat us as in like, okay, this is the kind of people that just make code that we can just reproduce by copy and paste. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. But to avoid that problem, it's better that you learn some back-end development and then show your employer that you're not just a front-end developer, but you can also do your back-end and things like that. So yeah, that was my little rant. All right, so we're done with this. Now we know what we're building. Your little footer here, by the way, yeah, you can put whatever. You don't have to put the stack that you use. You can put it like developed by John Doe, whatever, and some contact information, maybe some Facebook or LinkedIn or Indeed profile, whatever, anything over here so people can hire you. But whatever, you can get creative with all this stuff. But this is just basically what I have. Okay, so that's it. This is all they have. So we're gonna go into this in the next one. So until the next one.